everybody, welcome back. It's that time again, another episode of the Jagged Edge 87 for us. It's Ian here along with Chris.
You can call me Mumbles.
Mr. Mumbles.
That's right. That was me. That was me often enough. In our classic Resident Evil 2 playthrough. Call me Mumbles.
Dude, it's been a really cool retro flashback watching those parts I have. There's still a few things I'm trying to finish up watching those in my end, but I think the thing I love most about said Mumbles is like occasionally you'll miss a shot, or you're looking for some pickup that you didn't get. It's like hey,
I'm thinking out loud.
Yeah.
Just saying things that in one form or another that a lot of people, if they ever played, were probably thinking.
Right.
So we knocked out that retro replay for the classic one. I had knocked that out pretty fast. I think it took me for the allowed time that I have in order to knock one of those things. I think I got it done in 10 days, which is pretty quick.
Sure.
It's about 16, 17 hours of content, if not more. I don't have a lot of free time.
Yeah.
So that was rough among everything else we were doing. And we got a lot more heading our way. But yeah, we're doing a remake right now. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
But, the retro was fun. If you played Resident Evil before, they're not timed runs. They're just average runs. Especially because when I first started, I hadn't played one of those games or one of those scenarios in like 15 years.
Wow.
And I'm like shocked in the first couple parts how much. Because I'm thinking it's going to come back to me.
No.
No, it didn't. It didn't. In fact, I had meshed it up not only with the other scenarios, but I actually started even meshing some of it up with Resident Evil 3. and yeah, it got kind of messy.
Look,
it wasn't until about the end where I'm like, oh, that's right, that was in the other one.
The crazy part about past skill sets, especially gaming skill sets, is obviously they don't always translate. And, this takes me back to, it's like the kids who could blaze through Battletoads, but then they're completely defenseless now, if you ask them to play that game today. Something about it, like, there's some games, I swear, you can play best when, you can only play best for that time, or when you were younger, like,
If somebody asked me to play Battletoads, I'd just tell them no. You play Battletoads. I'm not playing Battletoads, you play Battletoads. I don't need that. I don't need a hernia.
Oh, no, well said. Hey, you might get that offer this year. They're coming out with the brand new Battletoads.
You play Battletoads. I'm not playing Battletoads. You play. I told you. Somebody asked me to play Battletoads. You play Battletoads, not me.
If I did a Battletoads play for this channel, that is a game that may well not get finished. I'll just be straight up with that. I have, to this day, never beaten a Battletoads game from start to finish.
That you will appropriately simulate the average player's use of that game. You will play it till you rage quit.
And the worst part, I'm not going to linger on this, man, but it was always the when they changed the gameplay, it was the stupid spaceship or the jet bikes. Every single time, man, that's it. Any life I saved up, gone.
I don't even remember who it was, but it was a friend of mine many, many years ago, and they just play Battletoads together. All right, that's when I quit.
Dude, you did right.
Put on the bike.
I'll say this: the only way to make Battletoads more frustrating is to play co-op. It's actually worse.
And I played Star Wars and beat the first one.
See?
Okay, that's the kind of patience I have. So. Battletoads, no. Nope.
Well, no, well said. But hey, besides all the gaming and stuff we love / hate playing about, we still do have a rundown to do here today in our show. We've still got a couple movies. Hasn't been a really, really heavy week of news for us.
No, very, very light week.
Kind of light. I'm okay with that. Though. Totally. You're doing RE. We got a lot of stuff coming up. I got some stuff I want to talk about. With Anthem and some other things later on. So, let's just check this out. Jump right into it. There was a brand new spot released for Shazam.
Yeah.
This really didn't go, I think, out of the way to give us necessarily a whole lot of new stuff on top of what we'd seen before, but
No, but it was fun.
It was no. This is fun. Fun. Firms up the release
just a couple weeks before Infinity War. I think from the previews, from the trailers, from everything I'm seeing, this seems like the kind of movie that we could use right now. I mean, with so many superhero movies, and some of them definitely last year was a lot of darker ones.
Right.
Half of everybody dying doesn't get much darker than that. Kind of nice that this seems very lighthearted.
Right.
And I'm appreciating that a lot.
Yeah, there's only so much of the humdrum, I think, heavy series you can do. So this is the stuff that kind of pulls you out of the rut. And
especially for the DC universe.
I was about to say DC needs it. You know what? I think this is going to ride some of the positive energy coming off of Aquaman. Like I felt that was a plus up in the right direction because it didn't sit and linger in a bad spot.
Oh, was Aquaman good?
No, it wasn't. It was not a trash movie.
I couldn't tell you.
You wouldn't know.
I have no idea.
Not that you'd know.
I'm not bitter.
Not that you didn't try.
That's right. Not that I didn't drive to the theater at the time that they told me it was originally going to come out, and then to switch it. Sorry, I'm not bitter at all about that. Never mind. They can go eat a. Never mind.
That too. +2 for self-censor. Love it. So Shazam, this is hitting this couple months here, right?
April 5th.
April 5th? Yep.
After Captain Marvel, ironically, which was his original name, and before Infinity War. In fact, I think that's the order for the superhero movies. You can't. It's weird. Glass is weird because I want to say Glass is his first superhero movie, and I think there's warrant for that.
Right.
But it's so different than all the others. But you know what? I think it gets thrown in there. Ultimately, I think Glass gets thrown in there as a superhero movie. It would seem inappropriate not to.
Whenever people talk about Unbreakable, Glass, and whatnot, and sort of the superhero genre, and saying, "Oh, that's kind of outside of it," or they're just action films. I really think it's sort of remiss to glaze over how important Unbreakable was, especially for the early hero films, and then with this being the wrap up to it. Yeah, this stuff is this blazed some ground, and I don't think you can pass over that.
Especially at a time when Unbreakable came out, when comics were, boy, they had a foot and a half in the grave.
Yeah,
everyone was so sick of all the comics nonsense from the 90s, and then a movie like that I think helped revive things a little bit. We had seen at that point X-Men and Blade and a couple others, but here was something very different. But yeah, I think and part of the reason why I think that's funny is we had commented. I don't think we commented on our review, but we commented at least during that time that there was not a single superhero trailer leading up to Glass, and I think that was a huge mistake. As far as their marketing goes, that didn't seem to make any sense.
Right. No, I don't know. I don't know why. Now that I think about it, it's one of those things. If you remember Unbreakable and the others, you're like, oh my gosh, I gotta see this. But yeah,
and you would have thought that Blumhouse would have made sure it's like, look, let's get superhero trailers leading up to. Glass actually starting. The contrast, I think, puts the viewers in an appropriate place.
Right.
It would have made sense. If I were them, I would have been like, yeah, load that thing up. Put Spider-Man and all the rest right in front, right in front of it.
Right.
I think that would have done well to put your audience in the proper mindset for what they were about to watch.
For sure.
Idiots. Give me my money now.
Oh, no spite.
That fixed your problem.
Oh, man. Well,
instead, we got horror trailers, right?
Yeah. What's that? Help me out here real quick. What's that?
I don't know. What the horror trailers is something with a scary kid. There's a nun. Yep. There's a flashback one in the 70s with a family that goes and checks out haunted houses. They're all the same.
Right.
They're all the same.
Well, the one by the
ever.
Yeah, the one by the dude that did Get Out.
Us.
Us.
That is just awesome. I can't wait for that.
I will look. I don't know where we're sitting on the listing right now, but if I'm not already down for that, go ahead and put me on it.
That's so good.
Yeah,
I can't. Yeah, that looks so awesome.
yeah, yeah. I'm actually excited. Something I'm gonna dig back and start actually looking at more of his work if he's had more, because he's got me twice now.
Yeah, I think it's just Get Out and Us.
Wow.
Keenan Ivan, what's his name, and the other they were Keenan Peele from Comedy Central.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Yeah, they did comedy.
Wow.
If you look at some of the skits they did, though, there was some kind of scary themed ones that aesthetically looked pretty good. You could tell there was some talent there. I don't know how much they had to do with that, but they delved into it. They dipped their toe in it every once in a while.
I like it. I like it a lot.
But yeah, these are his first two movies, and I mean, yeah.
See, if you can give me horror like that, sign me up. Okay, that's good. So, cool.
Speaking of horror,
yeah. Speaking of horror, yeah. I hope you're not terrified of Pokemon, right? Oh man, Detective Pikachu. We got the TV spot for this. The second trailer. Look, those of you who may have not been keeping track of this. The biggest takeaway, at least that I have from this, is Ryan Reynolds as Pikachu. So
okay, so first thing, Ryan Reynolds, save some AAA movies for everyone else. Really, that's seriously what I thought. Like, you have Deadpool. That wasn't enough. You need to take Pikachu. Yeah. So this movie has not been on my radar like at all. I'm not a Pokemon person.
Right.
I've never got it. It came out later. I mean, I was already a teen and looking at chicks and cars, so I didn't. It's the red and green, the fire and the emblem and the bullshit. And,
fire in the emblem.
I mean, this is it upsets me that I actually like this trailer.
See. Look, dude. It's solid. It's a fun trailer. It's a novel, solid concept. This popped up my radar a while back. My history of Pokemon is a little different. I remember when Red and Blue version came out on Game Boy, and I picked up Blue version. Dude, I was always an RPG nerd. I mean, that's what got me. As it's an RPG, I'm like, this is a well done game. But I can't tell you anything after Pokemon Red and Blue. I don't know where the series went. I heard there's like a gold, black, and something else today.
Yeah. All kinds of things. So what I can tell you, see, what grabs my attention about Pokemon is that one town that has the theme that had the rumors that if you listen to the theme in the town enough, you'd kill yourself.
Yeah.
Have you heard of that?
Yeah, I have.
See, that's what caught my attention about Pokemon. Besides that, there's a YouTube video. It's an ancient YouTube video at this point of somebody's dog humping a Pikachu doll. It's one of my favorites. Not even joking.
Questionable Pokemon knowledge.
That's not even me joking. I had a friend during the WoW days who loved Pokemon so much, I would randomly link him that video, and he'd be like, "This isn't the Pikachu video with the." I'm like, "No, it's not." And he'd open it up, and it was.
And then it was. What a troll!
I know I've shared that with you at least once in the past.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this seems like fun. So I guess my question is this something that Pikachu can do? Is there like one designated trainer or whatever that can hear him, that can actually hear what he's saying, or is that a thing?
Okay, to my knowledge, no. What the way I've always seen it is I think this comes out from the show where the main character, Ash, had a really intelligent Pikachu that didn't like to be stuck inside the Pokeball, so instead he let him follow him around.
And that was Pikachu.
That was Pikachu, yeah. He just walked around and he just like sat on his shoulder. But
Pika.
Yeah, Pikachu can understand him plain as day. And when the other way around, Ash seemed to be able to understand him, but there was never any sort of direct literal translation of him speaking English. I mean, he'd belt out a couple Pikas, and like Ash could at least get like, oh, like, you need whatever. Oh, you did. He just kind of got him. But
So
that was never explained.
it's not like Chewbacca or Groot, where they just roar. They say, "I am Groot," and they've actually tried to. Well, Wookiees have a language,
Right.
but like Rocket in most of the Guardians of the Galaxy can understand what Groot's saying,
Right.
but it's like a language kind of.
Yeah.
It's not like that though. This guy can actually hear, like through some kind of. In fact, they even mentioned that it's some kind of magic in the trailer.
Right.
That he hears what Pikachu means, not Pika Pika Pika.
So, to my knowledge, that's a change in Pokemon stuff, period, because it's always been the former.
They've never reflected it as anything other than Pika 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 and Ash being like, "Oh yeah, I understand what you're saying."
Yep.
So that's how they've okay. All right. So is the Pikachu masses up in arms about this, or
Not that I've seen. If anything, people are pretty much like pleasantly surprised. I think people are just kind of nodding their heads like, not bad.
Why? You want to know why? Because this is a video game adaptation into a live action movie that may actually do well and has
It could.
like an A-lister in it, and that's why.
It could, because you and I both know the curse, man.
Yep.
It struggles, and every now and then you'll have a gem, but Mortal Kombat, man, there's that's your shining city on a hill.
Well, and where I think Mortal Kombat won't be dethroned by this is because this movie is very much geared towards kids.
Right.
And you can tell that by looking at it. Mortal Kombat was geared towards, it's Mortal Kombat. All right. Is there any question that this wasn't geared towards adults? This is Mortal Kombat, even though the movie actually has very little blood.
Right.
I think that almost puts them in different categories.
It does. I think Pokemon has done some clever things with their own marketing and positioning themselves to do a movie like this. I'll tell you what. I don't think this movie would be where it is from a marketing perspective or from just consumer anticipation if it had not been for Pokemon Go. Kid you not.
Pokemon Go.
I really think that's a reason that we're seeing this, because Pokemon Go was like an atom bomb of just hype. Like people who had never even touched Pokemon had no idea what it was were getting into that game left and right. So you've got so much more of an exposure, not just from one age group too. It's such a crazy spread of people that know about it now. Then doing a movie like this, people can at least connect the basics and be like, "Oh yeah, Pikachu," or like, "Oh yeah, Charizard." Like, it's crazy. It was totally under the radar, but they did it. So,
Pika Pika.
Pika Pika. That's all you can say about it.
Should I do the rest of the show like that?
Oh no, please!
You have the notes. That'd be funny if you could probably like assume what I was saying or at least lead it. I would say Pika Pika Pika, and you'd be like, "Oh yeah, that's right. That is going into our next topic." That would be funny.
Oh man, maybe
Pika Pika.
what would be my man translated to Pika?
I don't think they translate.
Okay, I just give that one up. Never mind. Can't say I didn't try. Oh man, alrighty. Ghostbusters 3 and Morbius the Living Vamp, they're getting release dates. So we talked a little about this last week. For Ghostbusters, that got its little teaser trailer for it done in Ghostbusters 3. This week though, Sony gave the heads up. The official release date is July 20th, 2020.
Yeah, I was going to say, I have the notes right here in front of me, so I'm not going to, it's not like you were leading up for me to guess. At which point I would say July 20th, 2020, because I have the notes right here. So, yeah.
Oh man, no, it's I can't help but like the numbering. That makes me smile. So,
sure.
But other than that, nothing special out of the park. Cool. It's right. It's not that far away if you really think about it. But
year and a half.
Yeah, not at all.
Plenty of time to get it wrong.
Yeah, that too. But if Ghostbusters wasn't enough, we got the premiere date for Morbius, and I'm very, very interested in this. This is now set for July 31st, same year, of course, 2020. This is going to put this just a couple of months before Venom 2.
Yeah, because they're going to crank that MF out ASAP.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
That'll be, and of course they'll make a connection. They'll make some kind of connection.
Of course, and it's
You know, the funny thing is sorry, I covered my mouth there.
No,
The funny thing about when I was looking this up, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's right. We were talking about Morbius and how we were excited because Jared Leto's going to be he's going to be playing Morbius and he's going to be in this R-rated dark universe, and I'm like, oh wait, no, it's not. No, it's not.
Oh.
So actually, now I don't know how. I still like the idea of Jared Leto playing Morbius. That sounds great, but just like they neutered Venom,
Yep.
we're gonna probably get a neutered Morbius
Because it's got to be MCU, right, man? I mean,
right. I mean, I was really, more excited for Morbius than Venom when it came to an R-rated film. I mean, these characters lend themselves to this, and it's like, nope. Nope, PG-13 all the way. All right, so it's going to be Morbius, the Twilight Vampire.
Twilight Vampire. Does he sparkle?
He's going to sparkle.
Oh man.
And he's gonna eat people and then just leave the body right there in a store, and we'll just forget that happened.
Oh man, that rough edit. I'm never gonna forget that, dude.
No, that's which is ironic because that's something that he shouldn't have forgotten.
No, it isn't.
That's my alien symbiote just ate a person's head. I don't need to clean that up. I didn't do it.
No,
he did it.
Just leave that there. Let's move on.
That's horrible. That's horrible.
So bad.
I want to be excited for this. I still am excited for seeing Jared Leto as Morbius. That sounds cool. We'll see. Look, I don't care. I don't care how many people say it in social media that Venom was good, or at least Tom Hardy was good. Because Tom Hardy was good as Venom.
Yeah.
He was Venom. He was both Venom and Eddie Brock. So,
right.
He was, but that not a good movie makes.
No.
So I'm not jumping on the bandwagon here. That movie was basically shit with an interesting lead. I want to be excited about this. I guess, I will, because we've only had one movie in this dark PG-13 universe, this Spider-Man villain universe, that I won't judge completely because we've only had one installment so far. Morbius has an opportunity to do something very different. If it is R-rated, I will be very happy, but it won't be.
No.
It won't be because Venom brought in $800 million.
Yep.
So we're stuck. We're stuck. All right. Yay. Half-hearted bullshit universe. Yay.
Come on, Woody Harrelson.
Your original concept was so strong.
It was.
I wonder how many people got taken in from that initially. I know we did.
Yep. But it's a shame. It's a shame. I think, as you said at the start of this whole segment, I mean, these are all characters that very much lend themselves to this. I mean, I think, heck, especially Venom and Morbius really, really need something R-rated to fully express what they are as characters. So,
I mean, there's a really strong, tragic, mature story to be said with Morbius.
Yeah.
You're not gonna get it. You're gonna get Twilight. Yay, sparkly vampires.
Lasai.
We'll see. Maybe we won't, but I'm expecting that. I'm not actually expecting Twilight, but I'm definitely expecting something very watered down.
Yeah, a reversal. I think a large-scale reversal at this point wouldn't make much sense, seeing their direction and the heart.
Especially with a character that is not as popular.
Right.
I mean, they may even just double down on the watered down stuff here. And because he's not as popular. I mean, most people don't even know who he is. I mean, he's a great character in Spider-Man's Rogue Gallery, but he's not a well-known one.
Yeah, I guess I'll just go back to Maximum Carnage and be happy.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, speaking of Morbius though, we did have someone else for a cast choice about that film. Besides what we've mentioned, that's Matt Smith. He's getting cast into a major role now. Okay, there's a lot of details we don't know, but he's in final talks to join the full cast for Morbius. Of course, again, this starts which starts filming in February. So this
Next month.
coming up. Yep, right around the corner. What's Matt Smith known for? In case you forgot, or maybe just aren't looking, his most prominent role, he's the 11th Doctor in the Doctor Who series, and also he's got an unknown role in Episode 9, Star Wars.
Yeah. Hey, do you watch Doctor Who?
I watched quite a bit of Doctor Who of the season the 11th.
Okay, so you know who that is then.
Yes, he was awesome.
Yeah. I have, it's kind of funny because I used to watch old school Doctor Who. I used to live on a farm. I lived on a farm for years, and we didn't have cable or anything or satellite. Satellite wasn't really a thing. So we had like 4 channels, and PBS was one of them.
Mm-hmm.
And so I used to watch old school Doctor Who, like
classic.
the bad Doctor Who, because it really was. I mean, it was just very low budget. It was what it was. I mean, it's on free TV.
Right.
It's on PBS. All right, it came on right after Sesame Street. Okay, so and the one dude that painted with the afro. So no, great television, by the way. But yeah, I have not watched much of the new stuff. I've caught an episode here or there. People love it. It's like crack to them.
Yeah.
I mean, Doctor Who fans are up there with Star Trek and Star Wars fans.
Yes, they are.
And so sure. Is it so? This guy good? Does he have range? Is he a good actor?
I think he can pull it.
You think he could pull off a Twilight movie?
But it's not exactly a super high bar, right? But no. Look, here's the reason I say it. Again, I'm not versed in the entirety of his whole run through Doctor Who, but from what I did see, and especially when we got the new Doctor in the end of his tenure as Doctor, when we had that transfer, look, there were some those are some pretty heavy scenes. That was some emotional stuff, and I think for him to pull that off in the way he did and had the subtlety to do so, yeah. So thumbs up from me.
What do you think about it's the current season, isn't it, with the female Doctor?
Yeah, it is. I haven't seen any of it.
Oh, okay.
So I really couldn't tell you, but I mean, just
never mind.
Yeah, I was about to say I'm not one to give you an opinion, but so do I think it's a okay concept? Yeah, sure, whatever, rock out.
Sure,
fans seem to like it. So
nothing wrong with them having a vagina.
Oh Lord, what am I gonna do with you?
I guess like you were trying to do, just move on.
Yeah,
to the next
I'm just moving on. I'm just gonna move on before I'm left alive. All right. Yeah, you see what I did there. This is all about Assassin's Creed. Look, if anyone's been following the recent, where you have a choice between how you want to do your campaign playthrough, if you want to start, especially if you want to start off as male or female, it's Assassin's Creed Odyssey. The current expansion of this, called Shadow Heritage, there's been some hubbub about it. Not in a good way. As you know, this is Ubisoft helps do the publishing for this game and run it and whatnot, but they had some serious backlash over a forced hetero relationship that you're forced to do in the recent DLC. Fans were really cheesed off about it when they're in a game where you get the choice, sort of basically determining where you want to go with your orientation, what you choose, as far as what you want to get into. If you want to get into something committed with someone else or other NPCs, all that kind of stuff. Look, you're a fan of Mass Effect, you know what this is all about. So people hated this. They hated the idea that they could build one relationship up, but then be pigeonholed into this one. So after all this backlash, it turns out Ubisoft actually went back and changed the cutscene in the DLC, so which players were saying, of course, contradicted the way they were defining their own characters. And their quote was, for doing this, they said, "Making changes to a cutscene and some dialogue in Shadow Heritage to better reflect the nature of the relationship for players, selecting a non-romantic storyline. These changes, along with the renaming/trophy achievement, are being made now and will be implemented in an upcoming patch." So they did say that the next DLC episode, called Bloodline, they're going to ensure that still reflects the player's choices. It's sort of a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation, though, because they're still catching a lot of flack both ways for this. I think for what they chose at first and for this now. And I couldn't help but highlight this coming across this about not just what this means for Assassin's Creed, but when you look at long form games in general, and I think
Yeah.
how hard people react to this stuff now if you sort of yank the rug out from under them on it. So, uh, Chris, I don't know if you got anybody around you that's talked about Mass Effect or
Oh, I mean, I wasn't a fan, but trust me, I've actually read a lot on the disaster that was Andromeda.
yeah, 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 tragic,
But specifically, I know about the choices you can make and all that stuff. Look, this is tough for not for the reasons you think.
right?
Now I don't know all the context as far as I've not played this, I've not seen this.
Right.
So let me lay this out saying if the storytellers of this game had a vision for how they wanted this story to go, and it was appropriate that for the story that this relationship be forced regardless of the choice that you make, shut up and take their story.
Right.
Now, that being said, in this overly generic world of storytelling for games, which isn't, obviously isn't as important as movies, well, let me rephrase. Is the expectation is that is same for things such as movies. And if you've laid a pretty strong precedent before this, that these are choices you can make. It's tough. It's tough.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, if there's a standard, if there's a precedent up until this point in this game, because this is DLC, that you can decide who you make relationships with and not be homosexual, heterosexual, or just if you're putting everyone in the friend zone.
Right.
But if these are like NPCs though, and these relationships that you do or do not interact in, if they play no prominent role in the story or for your character,
Right.
then that's not the same thing as a CGI inserted part of the story that is critical for the storytelling.
Right.
That's not there's not the same thing. If Assassin's Creed is, it's my understanding that Assassin's Creed games, depending on which one you've played, some are very story centric. Some of them, it's more of an excuse for what you're doing.
Yeah, in the regardless, the formula has been used so many times now that I think it's caused some fatigue.
Yeah. Yep.
Regardless.
So that's where I sit. If this didn't seem important,
Right.
that they pursue this relationship, they make you something, because from what you said, regardless of which choice they make, they end up in a relationship.
Right.
Well,
So, yeah, it's more of as you said, looking at the overarching story and what it establishes. Like I understand that in some more of the long form open games, the idea of literally being able to take a head canon and expand it to a canon. A lot of people like that. I mean, I know that's a definite lure of, heck, the Mass Effect series and other stuff like that, but I'm in a similar boat, as far as the releases and stuff. And again, this is coming from somebody who doesn't have much of a history with Assassin's Creed except for the very first. I think that's the only one I actually played through. But
you're going 2 gens back, aren't you?
Yeah,
or was
yeah.
Or was that PS3?
PS3.
Oh, it's okay. So, but at the beginning of last gen,
I believe so. But
hey,
that's just in general, and this is not something that I think we're going to be limited to seeing with just Mass Effect or Assassin's Creed. It's something I think we're going to continue to see in long form gaming in general. So just one of those kind of intersection moments pass by here. Can't help but look at that.
Yeah, no, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I guess at the end of the day, it is important for Ubisoft to, unless they can't avoid it, unless it's unavoidable, you should probably be pretty consistent with what you're allowing your players to do, and not. Yeah.
Cool.
At the same time, I don't really see it a big deal.
Yeah.
With the others. So.
Not fussed in the least. Well, Assassin's Creed is not the only thing in the dock. As we were talking about early in the show, we're both really busy here. gaming wise, with Chris doing a bunch of Resident Evil. If you're not keeping up with that, shame on you. Go watch it. It's fun.
That's right.
We got Resident Evil Retro, Resident Evil 2 Retro, and also the current Resident Evil 2 Remake. I, on the other hand, I'm sitting here getting ready for none other than Kingdom Hearts 3. That's on its way.
Salivating. Every day I gotta wipe up the spit.
Yeah, he complains about that, but I can't help it. It's too much hype. We got Cage coming up, and then that's not enough. Anthem. We've had that's on its way, but they've also had the open demo for that. So I want to just delve right into a lot of stuff we've been cutting through this weekend, a little bit beforehand. RE2 remake. It's finally here, and I could say from what I've watched of it, I was commenting on this beforehand. What I've seen them do with the atmosphere. Not just in terms of just the raw look, the frame rate of the graphics and stuff, but just the whole feel, like the way they just put you in this dank zombie-infested town. Dude, it's pretty sweet from what I'm seeing.
Mm-hmm.
There is just from visuals alone. I remember just seeing some of the first screenshots of this. I was like, if they follow up and keep this solid, like that's some early game of the year material potentially. So.
I guess I would have to say I'm maybe 50% through one of the two scenarios, so I've got a long ways to go here. I'm having a lot of fun with it. It's kind of funny because I'm glad because someone even asked me about it and wanted me to do recommendations for them, and I told them to get the PC version. At that time I was initially playing the game or planned on playing the game with a controller. I'd done the demo with a controller. I've now abandoned the controller. I'm back to keyboard and mouse, which is actually working well for me. And I'm playing on the PC, so the graphics are nuts. If I were to describe my computer as a person, I would say it's a power lifter. So it can handle this game and then some. It's a lot of fun. It's definitely atmospheric. It looks like Capcom has actually taken their time, and they've crossed their T's, they're dotted their I's with this game. Everything's very well put together. It is a lot of fun playing. Especially because like we said earlier on, I had done a playthrough of the whole Resident Evil 2 in anticipation for this, and to give people a proper perspective of what came before. This is really fun. I'm looking forward to this. It's giving me some genuine moments here. Game of the year, I just don't like to throw that around, especially in January.
Yeah, I know. That's very, very early to say that, considering all the things we still have to see this year. And I normally never would myself, but I said this is a freaking classic, man. And should they play their cards right and see how the rest of this goes, it's just looking awesome.
Yeah. Resident Evil 2, the classic one, it goes down as one of the most important and just one of the best games ever. Yep. It's up there. Will this one be there too? It has potential. I will say it has potential. Cool. It has not done me wrong. I'm having a lot of fun. There's enough similarities here where it's like, oh yeah, this is this and this and this, but then there's like, oh, this is completely different. So, it's doing a good job.
Good.
Let me say that.
Good. Okay, I know you haven't seen the whole thing yet, but as far as revamped moments from now to what you ran across in the original, because I know one thing you've already said is like this is doing a much better job of scaring the crap out of you. Mm-hmm. But are there any other things that you're just like, that's how I imagine that scene would look now? Or would you say it has or hasn't done those moments service?
Touching on that topic, I don't know if this answers your question or not, but I will say this. they're two very different games. They're both survival horror games, and they both
Right.
belong to that genre.
Right.
But their approach to the storytelling and to the gameplay is very different, as well as it should be. There's over a 20-year difference between the two of them. Scenarios that played out and were scary or were difficult in Resident Evil 2 Classic play out differently in the new version, but have an equal, if not better, impression on you than prior.
Yep.
The classic Resident Evil 2 was about searching around and finding things, and unlocking this with that, doing this puzzle to get this going, and a lot of that, at least in the way that the gameplay was for that game, does not translate to this game, to the new one. So they've come across with other ways to do this, and they've done a really good job of that.
Good. Yeah, I was just kind of curious, especially when we talk remakes. I mean, naturally, when I see this, I can't help but think, early shades of, a FF7 remake, expectations versus...
Oh, boy.
Yeah, right, yeah. Well, let's face it, it'll be the year 2050 whenever I see that, but...
Yep.
But...
Your kids will play it.
Yeah, kids will play it. Yeah, it comes down to expectations versus what you get. I don't have enough of a pulse on the RE fan base to see were expectations just through the roof for this beforehand. Was it kind of subtle and they were just oh my gosh, it's being remade?
No,
that's awesome.
No. It's interesting because the years leading up, there had been whispers. The tiniest of whispers of a remake, and that was because Capcom had remade Resident Evil 1.
Right.
And there was a resurgence with Resident Evil 7. And, there were tiny whispers, but no one really believed it. And a lot of that has to do with the fandom and the issues that they've had to deal with 1.5 and all the other different remakes that they've done and all the different offshoot games that have come with it. But Capcom, they had some kind of stream or something, and they're like, "Oh yeah, by the way, this," and then, like, here we go, we're doing it, and that was only a year before. That was only about a year before. So the game they've been working on it and kept it hidden for a very long time. Square Enix has just been a dirty little whore about it. And they're like, hey, look what we're doing finally. Bells and whistles and fireworks, and we're going to do this. It's going to happen. And it's like, how much you got done? Nothing. You got nothing done. We're telling you now. We're telling you now that we're going to do this. You have anything to show us? We don't. Not a thing. Not a thing. And then 2 years later, we're starting over. And everything you did see so far, scrap it.
Yeah, forget about that. Yeah.
Capcom announces this about a year before it's going to come out, year to year and a half, and they're like, "Yeah, we've been working on this for a while, and you're going to have to wait, but not too long, about as long as your average game. But yeah, we're doing this." So
yeah.
Yeah, apples and oranges.
Apples and oranges.
Square Enix needs the hype in order to feed its own ego.
Yeah.
That's why I do not respect them as a company.
Oh man.
And also, that being said, from what we have been told so far about Final Fantasy, they're going about it all wrong. Every chapter's going to be like a whole new game. And by the way, did you hear that little noise?
Yeah. What was that?
That was part 5 just finished.
Oh, nice.
A little fairy comes out of my computer. It's like, everything's done.
Just saying.
And then he bonks me in the head. No, everything's going to be the size of a full game and gameplay. No, you don't understand. They don't understand what people want from this.
And
that's their problem.
There's been a consistent drumbeat. I'll say this among especially the most hardcore of hardcore FF7 fans is actually, it's funny. I see a little versus battle going on with this. No matter where I go, livestream.net, GameFAQs, Reddit, wherever, you're going to see these two comments. The first of which will be, well, why don't they just give us, a full remake of the game? Just HD remake. Leave it alone. The battle system's fine. Everything about 7's fine.
The battle system is fine.
Dude, the battle system's freaking classic. And then there's the counter argument. A lot of people said ATB has aged. Obviously Square is all about the action style RPG now. This is the wave that you see FF games heading. Just accept it.
You see, I don't believe that though. And yes, I come from the perspective of I can't stand how RPGs play now.
Right.
I like the old turn-based.
Same.
And I think it's fine. And I think there's a big difference here. And I'll also say that I don't think Resident Evil 2, when people actually got to see how this game was going to play, had they not released 7 before it,
right,
there could have been a huge uproar.
Wow.
But 2 Remake uses 7's engine. It's an updated version, but it uses the same engine. So to some effect, you had some kind of ideas how it was going to work.
Right.
Now, that being said, I think Square Enix does not give nearly enough credit to the turn-based system of 7 and the materia system and how this worked and how much people appreciated that.
Right.
And the thing about the old Resident Evil 2 system, the classics, the gameplay system, it's so outdated. It's freaking tank controls. It's tank controls, and it's searching. It's fixed cameras. It's tank controls. It's literally me. You can hear it. I'm walking along walls. Click, 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 click. Is it here? Is it here? Maybe it's over here now. Maybe because there's nothing telling me that doesn't work anymore.
Right.
But there's still turn-based RPGs.
Right.
People still love them, and I that's the biggest turnoff for me right now is that I know they're changing it from a turn-based system.
Yep.
That really upsets me, and they're not understanding the nostalgia base that they're going to need in order for this game to be successful, especially with all the countless of millions of dollars they've already spent on 2 years of production, then ditching it,
right,
and starting over. They've already spent more than most companies will spend on a game. They've already done that. That's already done. So, and now they're starting over. If they're gonna, if they missed that nostalgia base, this could ruin the company potentially. Square Enix does not have money coming out, hand over fist anymore.
No,
they've had some stinkers.
Oh yeah. I mean, they've got enough stuff riding for them, I think, right now between not just FF14, still doing well, still growing. But other weird ones too. I know, what was it? Life is Strange. While that wasn't an out of the park, that's definitely been solid enough. I mean, I've just looked at their upcoming release and stuff. Cage 3. I think no matter what the fan fallout for that's going to be, that's going to be an enormous release. People are gonna buy that like hotcakes. You're gonna see that sell like crazy. So yeah. The boat's okay right now. But
right. They're talking to banks and investors and selling Final Fantasy VII Remake, and if that does not come through, that could ruin them.
FF7 Remake, a failed FF7 Remake would be a disaster.
Right. In every sense, financially, reputation, and otherwise, it could ruin the company.
Yeah.
And the thing is that turn-based RPG is kind of like first-person shooters as far as it's just a classic way to play the game. Yes, you tweak it, you change it a bit, but it's how an RPG is played. And yes, I know that it's evolved since then, and people have evolved first-person shooters from its original way. But it just they're gonna it's gonna be a hard sell. It's going to be a really hard sell to move away from the turn-based.
The rationale behind it, what I'm seeing at least, is there's a push. Nomura and others have wanted, I think, for a long time to bring sort of the craziness, the madness you see like pulled in Advent Children, stuff like that, into an actual game, be able to actually do that. In that regard, I've always felt 7 has sort of been the training dummy for those things, because I mean, you've had other types of gameplay in 7. For the compilation, you have Dirge of Cerberus. That was a third-person shooter game. You've had the mobile phone releases and stuff like that. So the compilation of 7 isn't foreign to that idea. But on the whole, though, of completely translating 7, I think that's an enormous gamble. It's
Yeah.
And frankly, it surprised me when I first heard about the remake. I mean, the basic expectation I had was it would be awesome to play good old turn-based FF7 again and full genuine HD. And I said, oh, it's an action game. So honestly, just that change alone and just the sheer size of each episode is really going to have me thinking a lot less of I'm just playing FF7 again than this is, really is a different game. And you could say, well, duh, that's what they want. Okay. But, I mean...
What though? That's the problem.
Yeah.
I don't care what Square Enix wants.
Right.
I care what I want. And that's how I spend my money.
Yeah.
And I think that's where they're going to miss the boat, because obviously when remaking Final Fantasy VII, a lot of what they need to be shooting for is to bring in those nostalgic players.
Absolutely.
And if they bring in some kind of foofy action RPG thing, that's going to piss a lot of people off, and they won't play past the first disc out of 20 that they have planned.
It's going to depend how they do it. I think the draw, what a lot of people are curious about right now that we really haven't seen much of, is we pretty much know at this point that you're going to be able to continuously jump perspectives of who you're playing as. Like, there's going to be like a different layout for Barrett, a different layout for Cloud, Vincent, Tifa, whoever you take control of for that time. So depending how much the gameplay changes, whatever else, I think it feels to me people are waiting to see that before they hit the nuclear button.
Well, that's fair too.
Yeah, it is.
Like, show me the core gameplay.
It is.
Like, for example, I'm going to be pretty much out if the materia system isn't the same.
Materia better be. It better be.
Right, exactly. Especially if the core gameplay elements aren't.
Right.
The materia better work the same, and if they're going to switch all that up, it's going to have a hard time bringing me in.
Yeah.
I said I would buy the first disc, though, didn't I?
Yep, you did.
Yeah. I'll waste money on the first game.
So zero hope here.
I don't have any hope. I don't like what Square Enix does.
No, I hear you.
I'm not a fan of their games. I haven't been for a long time. Not only do I not care about their current games, they just turned me off of their approach and their style. I used to love it, just like every other kid teenager from the 90s.
Sure.
I mean, oh my God. It's fun. And the direction they went in, the style that they went in, the gameplay they've gone in, and just the crap that they do as developers, I just no. This was the last possible thing that they could come out with that I would be really interested in, and they've already got one foot in the grave.
Right.
So, yeah.
A lot riding on it, man.
Yes, it is, and I know how we got onto Final Fantasy. It was a good evolution to the topic.
Yeah.
I will always take an opportunity to bitch about Square Enix.
No, and didn't I get it? And with RE2, I mean, I'm thinking about those games that were around 96, 97, those big titles like late 90s and stuff. This was the stuff you'd come into Blockbuster Video about. I mean, on PlayStation 1, these were the prolific games. So there's just there's something that just strikes a chord to me when I just see Resident Evil 2 remake. I think the first thing I said when I first saw that was just wow. I mean, that's hitting all the right chords. So, boy. Well, last but not least, speaking of reputations riding, we have BioWare and EA teaming up to what could be something awesome with sky-high potential, which I believe it does have, or a complete disaster. That's Anthem. The free demo weekend is here. Now, bear in mind, this is for people who have either Origin VIP or who did the pre-order for Anthem already. There's a chance to actually play the demo this weekend that's ongoing. They have the regular free play. There's a series of guided missions, and then the Stronghold, which is sort of like the raid. They've opened that up for 4 players for this demo specifically. Each javelin is able to be used. You have to get to level 12 to unlock it, so just a little bit of leveling. I believe you start at 10 for the demo. This one crept up on me, but I made sure I wanted to take some time and see if I could actually get in and actually play. So I was tempted to do some recording for this, do something for the channel. I am going to be doing Anthem coverage. Those of you curious, I will be playing in the everyday life of a Colossus. I will have my yeah, right, aka my Hulk Buster armor running around. I will be doing my full playthrough that way, my customization and everything else through. So this demo, though, you have to start as the Ranger, which is effectively the all-arounder, a Javelin, and of course you can unlock the one you want to play. Naturally, I did so with Colossus. Reason I wanted to wait a bit in recording, there were some reports early on of some early server issues. I know people were having problems logging in, some latency, some rubber banding, all that stuff, and then not being able to start as Colossus. Lots of other little things. We're still in that early phase. Most importantly, though, none of what you do here in the demo is going to translate into your actual pickup. So I want to start where I technically start the game. Where I hop in my heavy, and let's go. So, impressions. Look, if you're looking at any kind of gaming here around YouTube, you're probably seeing Anthem pop up all over the place, especially videos. Is it good? Is it good? Is it good? Is it good? I think that's a sort of forlorn question by now, especially on the whole. The take is, myself included, yeah, in fact, it's fun. It's solid.
It's not just good, it's fun.
It's fun. I do want to get into some specifics, though. Things aren't all roses here. So as I got in, it didn't take too long to get things unlocked. As far as I think I ran the stronghold and a normal mission or two to get enough XP, level 12 to unlock Colossus and really get a feel for the movement, the customization. That was what I was most curious about. What are the things I'm able to detail, and how does this game feel? Does heavy weaponry feel right? Does this flight? How does that feel? What are the mechanics? All that was surprisingly fun. There's a lot of things that we saw from E3 that you knew that you were going to be able to do anyway. Like with flight, you have to monitor your heat a lot. Cough, cough, armored core.
Oh my god, that's exactly what I thought of right when you said that. I'm like, oh my god.
Huge flashbacks of Armored Core Nexus here. In fact, Chris, flight is basically heat-induced overboost from AC. Just omnidirectional.
Is that like a heavy thing? Is that a Colossus thing? Or is that
all javelins? Yeah, there's one that does have longer flight than the others because of how mobile it is, and they're very, very floaty. But that really goes across all the suits. So
I don't remember seeing a heat meter for any of the trailers I watched.
It's that little white bar. I don't know if you even remember that.
I bet you it wasn't in there.
I'm tempted to bet, but you saw what happened last time I did that.
Oh boy.
But no, I was wondering how limiting that was going to be, how much control you'd have over it. I was worried about that being a really wonky mechanic, but it's not. You can control your speed. I like how it's omnidirectional. When you dive down, it takes your heat down a bit. Also, when you pass through waterfalls and stuff like that, that automatically reduces your heat. So there's some really cool ways you can use your own movement to control the full flight. There's also, and I didn't know about this, there's a hover mode. Which is sweet. So you can go right into hovering out of pure flight, or you can just jump in the air and hover. Now that still increases your heat, but the cool thing is it will put you in place in midair wherever you are. So you want to let off a salvo or like a huge volley, or you want to let loose a big weapon or something from the air. There's your chance to do it. When the controls are really tight to that, there's a couple ways to get in the mode. You can go start aiming one of your weapons, and that'll instantly put you into hover. I like that kind of responsiveness. I'm sure there's still a few things to explore with as far as like movement tricks and things like that, but for what I got to do with that, I enjoyed it. It feels just like Overboost. Although this bothers me. It's on L3 except instead of R3. That drives me crazy. So,
oh gosh, I'm sure you can change that.
Believe it or not, well, okay. I'm going to see if I can in the full version, because right now they have for PC controls, of course, everything's fully mappable, but of course I had to try this out with the gamepad. I'm using the Xbox controller. Had some problems getting the PlayStation controller to work, but that's fine. Right now you can map like legacy, southpaw settings, all that kind of stuff. Your axes inversion and all that, but That kind of mapping, I can't move that yet. So I'm hoping in the full version, because if I could do that little change, I'd be so happy. But other than that, the controls work. They're solid. Remembering your weapons loadout and stuff like that. Yeah, man, pretty chill.
Cool. Well, Ian, it was nice knowing you. But now that you're going to be playing 2 MMOs, I will probably never speak with you again.
Yeah, yep. That's it. Goodbye, social everything. This is we were talking about this. Look, this is going to be a juggle. Those of you who listen, I'm an FF14 player.
Yeah, juggle. This is going to be a power lift. This is going to be a juggle. It's going to be juggling pianos. It all goes crashing on you. About a month into it, Ian forgets to do things like change his pants. I haven't slept in 2 weeks.
If
it smells like it, Ian.
If I become that guy, remove me from this channel.
I won't have to. You're not going to see you again.
Those of you who listen, no secret, I played FF14 since the relaunch for 2.0 about 4 or 5 years ago, and then now I'm going to have this going. And yeah, sure, maybe I should have thought twice when I'm getting myself into. But look, something happens when I see mecha. Look, something short circuits in my mind. Anyway. I'm gonna see the full release for this soon. This is at least the hands-on for the raw gameplay that I wanted to see and to really test out. And I'm making my way around the weapons loadouts. I haven't gone through each part of it yet, but checked out the 4-player co-op and stuff like that. I'd say what I'm really kind of concerned about, though, is the only mode that really seems streamlined is your main campaign. I mean, free play is there, but there's very little sense of, sort of stuff to go after, things to do. You don't have an immediate checklist and things like that, and there's the different modes just lack a cohesion. That's the best term I can come up for it for now. It's a little bit all over the place with that. So, as far as the servers, though, like I was saying, there were some issues. People had problems connecting. I ran into some rubber banding.
Sure, they took this as an opportunity to even stress test.
Oh,
so
definitely.
I'm not surprised. In fact, I would have expected it if I was going into this demo.
Definitely. And I mean, they've been, BioWare, and they've been responding on Twitter saying, hey, monitoring, like you said, stress tests and everything, monitoring servers, getting some additional space up. So they've been trying to make that as streamlined as possible. The Stronghold mission, it seems to be the one you can get into every time, easiest to play with the least lag. In fact, I've had actually a pretty seamless experience with doing the Stronghold mission. So that was tight. And that was actually, I don't know if you remember it, it was that thing we saw from E3 with that giant spider thing at the end where they were doing it's that. You get to play through that mission. That was pretty fun. So, there's a lot here. There's a lot to look forward to. I am going to be buried in doing coverage for this and everything else. But
give me the numbers for your parents and your next of kin, and I'll try to keep them up to date with what's going on.
All right, thanks, dude. Thanks.
Because I'm sure I'll be the only one that gets in anywhere, because I'll be like, we have to do channel stuff. And like, we're gonna 3 weeks from now, the Jagged Edge is gonna be me bringing in the show, and Ian being like, "Huh? Oh, we record? Hey, how's it going? Sorry, I'm playing
Anthem." I will laugh so hard if we end up doing a show where I'm literally playing Anthem, and then just talking about news.
Yeah, don't do that.
No, okay.
Don't do
that. Deal. So
I won't react kindly to that.
I'm sure. No, you would. I know you would. But hey, look, if any of you have gotten in on the Anthem demo, if you did the Resident Evil demo and stuff way back, hey, if you're playing Remake now, look, we want to hear from you too. Post up, let us know what you thought, what you like, what you don't like, all that good stuff. We'd love to hear from you here. Before we wrap up, though, as always, it's time for an info minute. All right, Chris, look, Valentine's Day is right around the corner. Hey, I gotta ask, did you used to eat those Sweetheart candies?
Oh my gosh, those things are great.
You dig those?
Not so much now. I'm not a big fan of eating chalk nowadays.
Yeah.
But back in the day, I was. Yeah.
Oh, that's always the way it came across to me. I was always kind of indifferent. It was just a thing for, oh, okay, Valentine's Day. I guess I'll go munchie mode. Well, there's a problem, and I believe we talked about this too, but I couldn't help but mention it here, considering what's about to come. Uh, Look, if you want this Valentine's Day, if you just can't live without these, you're gonna have to this year. So it
Huh?
turns out that the some of the famous sayings. I'm trying to remember what was it? It was like cutie pie, love you. I forget what they all
Yeah.
say. Yeah.
Be mine.
Right, right, right.
A hot kiss.
Oh man, you're not gonna see these at all. None of it. Not for
What?
2019.
Why? Why?
So these aren't getting produced this year. So okay, so check this out. The company makes these. This is according to the Spangler Candy Company. Now they purchased Sweethearts and Necco wafers back in 2018. There was really an abrupt close, and they said here I'll have to go with the quote Twitter page. Sweethearts and Necco wafers are iconic brands with rich 100-year-plus histories. It's from the CEO of Spangler. We're particularly excited about Sweethearts. Many people have memories of sorting through their box of Sweethearts just to find the right message to share. That's not helping anybody right now.
No.
But as to why, as to the exact reason, it's due to some plant shutdowns. There was there's a couple manufacturers actually closing down their plants. In fact, the closure was actually a shock to the 200 or so workers, 230 workers that were there, who weren't able to pick up their checks after the buyouts. But yeah, it's like once this took new ownership, there's just ops that got shut down and just never got back on track, right? And now we're in this situation this year.
So no one's gonna get any?
Well, guess not. But there's hope. There's hope. Supposedly the relaunch is supposed to happen for 2020 Valentine's.
That's not hope for this year. I want them this year. You know what? You know what I saw at the store the other day, and I had my first of this year.
Huh?
Oh, Cadbury eggs.
Cadbury eggs. I love those.
Saw them in Walmart.
So
Picked them up. It was good. It was good.
So
All right, now back
good.
to this massive disappointment.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got to be kidding me though. Seriously, I mean, these things are not. They're like hardened sugar. I bet you they're like
Pretty much.
90% hardened sugar.
Pretty much.
I mean, what we can't use? I'm sure the billions that were left over last year. I mean, what the crap?
You think,
That's
right?
crazy. I mean, these are the little candies that come in a box that you can buy for like 50 cents, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Well, there's not enough of those left.
You think, right? It's just it. Look, I would think. Okay, now you're making me think about Zombieland, where he's going on the quest for Twinkies, trying to
Right.
find leftovers. Here's the deal. I'm sure that the entire U.S. stock of Sweethearts, but from like 2017, isn't dead. I bet you could probably still go find some boxes, but the fact that there's going to be just like a scarcity and that these aren't produced like at all for this season, oof. I hope.
I mean, I don't need a lot. I just want some. I don't want a lot of them.
Right.
Just some.
So
So
funny.
make that happen.
It's one of those things, as consumers, you say, like you said, I just want some. I don't want a bunch. We don't sit there munching this stuff all the time.
I don't need a whole bowl or anything. Just like a dozen.
But then when it's not available, we're like, "Where's my stuff? Don't take my
Right.
stuff."
So what I'm hearing is that what I need to do for Valentine's Day is Cadbury eggs
Yes.
because they're out. So
There you go.
I'll just do Cadbury eggs instead of Sweethearts. All right, problem solved.
There you go.
That's what we're doing, everybody. Give me money. Solve your problem. Actually, not only did you solve your problem, I upgraded the whole situation.
Upgrade.
He's now instead of these crappy sugar things, is like, all right, Cadbury eggs. That's an improvement in my eyes.
I know, dude. It is. I'd take Cadbury egg any day, man. Those were, man. They had a bunch of. You're taking me back now. In the UK, those were big too. They had all kinds of
I remember when the Caramello came out.
Caramello.
That's Cadbury's, and no, it's not exactly the same. But I remember because that was the first sign of like Cadbury, at least in the U.S. here, doing anything that wasn't seasonal for Easter.
Right.
And like, oh my gosh, I can eat Cadbury year round, you say? And something broke in my brain.
Part of the season, but yeah, man. It's just I kind of read this and said, "Don't take my stuff." I agree. So.
Yeah, this is dumb. Honestly, these things. I'm sure these things are cheap and easy to make. Fix it.
Yeah.
I don't. I could probably look on Google how to make these things. You know what? That's what I'm gonna do. Screw you. I'm not buying your sweethearts anymore. And I'm gonna write the best things on them.
Oh man.
Like,
Lord, sweethearts from you. Oh my gosh.
Oh, the things we'll never get through this recording because you'll keep cutting me out for the things I would put on my hearts.
Yes, I would for that. Oh man. So before I get to hear Chris's wish list, hey people, thank you so much for listening. If you've hung with us up till now, we thank you so much. Of course, hey, like I was saying earlier, post down in the comments section below those likes, subscribes, comments, what you like, didn't like. Hey, all that stuff helps us so much to keep doing what we do here. We love it and we want to do more of it, but it doesn't go anywhere without you guys. So, hey, without any more ado, thank you all for listening. Take it easy. Peace out. We'll see you again. Hey people, thank you for tuning into this episode and taking a listen. If you like our content, if you like what you're listening to, there anything we go over, hey, please, we would not only love to hear more from you, but if great if you could throw some support. You can subscribe right below. Also, you can toss us a line anytime. That's ksongmedia@gmail.com. Of course, you can tune in for our channel anytime for movie reviews, game reviews, a lot of random wacky stuff. Yeah, who knows what you'll hear. And of course, our episode each week where we're bringing the nerdiest things we can find, dig up, and maybe not find, maybe the stuff that just drops in our laps. But anyway, hey, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for listening. We hope to hear from you again later. Take care.